Okay, looks like we're all set. Let's go. Let's do this. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing okay today. I know that I'm doing wonderfully well, especially that I know that we're finally going to finish the background to our painting, so that's always pretty exciting. So let's start off the day like we always do. Let's go over to the computer. Let's check out what we did yesterday, and then we'll tackle our day from there. So yesterday, what did we do? Well, obviously we did the details to our plants. We did that with a very light gray, which we're going to highlight with black paint today. So that is basically what we did in the first part of our afternoon yesterday. And then after that, we followed through by putting on the first coat of our gray background to our frame. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to finish off the leaves with some black outlines, and then we're going to unfortunately have to put a second coat of this gray paint because I can see a lot of my paintbrush marks on this first coat. But we said so yesterday. We knew we were going to have to put two coats, and actually that's not a bad thing because with that second coat, it will let us know basically if we want to go a little bit lighter or a little bit darker on this second coat or leave it the way it is. Personally, I think I'm going to try to go slightly darker when we lay that on our canvas. So let's not waste any time. I'm going to make some black paint. I'm going to spend most of the afternoon doing the black outlining and finishing off our nuclear towers and our plants. So that said, let me grab the black paint out. So I am saving so much of my colored paints with this kind of a painting. All I'm using is black and white. So that's pretty interesting, but I must say I've been painting, you know, my colors are just so intense that I get burnt out eventually and I have to go and do a painting all in grays just to kind of reset the hard drive back to zero. So, black paint. Okay, very good. I can hear a lot of girls upstairs talking away in the studio of Jeanne. It's like having like 20, 30 birds up there yakking away, God knows about what. So I'm going to make a good amount of this black paint because I can always put the excess back in the jar when I'm done. So at least I know I won't run out. So that's a good thing. So let me just clean off my knife. And then I'm going to use a large brush to bring in some water just to make sure that the black paint flows the way it should. Try to get it to be the right texture and have the right consistency where it's almost like ink, but maybe a little bit thicker because I want to make sure I keep the opacity to this black paint to its maximum. So that said, let me grab a fairly fat little brush here. I'm going to use this one that I used yesterday to make our gray paint. There we go. Put quite a bit of water in there. Not too much. Let's not exaggerate. I can always add water if I need it. Especially that this black paint isn't quite as thick as the white paint that I've been using for the last week or so, which is a new can of white paint, new jar of white paint, whatever you want to call it. I don't buy tubes. I buy little jars of it. But that last jar I bought, boy, it was like really thick stuff. So I really had to take a few minutes always to dilute it to find the right consistency. Here, let me bring this over a little closer. There we go. I already added a little bit more water because I can see it's still very thick. I wanted to get it to be like the same consistency as I had for that light gray that I did the outlines to the plants yesterday. That was just perfect. It just went so smoothly. And that's what I'm hoping to repeat today. My main concern, though, is finding the right size paintbrush. I don't want the lines to be too thick, and I don't want them to be too thin either. So I have to find the right paintbrush. I'll worry about that in just a few seconds. I am getting really right down to the right consistency of my paint. Now, like I always mention, if I'm mixing colors, I usually go over to camera number 1, and I do that with you guys. When it's just black paint on the black palette, there's no point. There's nothing thrilling. You can't see anything except the reflection of the lights in the paint, and that's about it. So what's this doing here? Nice and creamy here. This looks like it's pretty good. I'm going to go with this. I thought I was going to end up with a lot more paint. Doesn't seem to. Hopefully it'll be just the right amount. If not, we'll make some more. No big deal. So, like I said, the important thing for me really right now is to find the right size paintbrush. So these are my lines right here. So I don't have that many choices really, like this one. For some reason, I have a feeling this is going to be a little too big. So if that's going to be a little too big, then what do I have? I would need like a half a size smaller. Here's one. Just take a look here, not see if there's nothing. I don't have anything in between these two sizes, which is a drag. I thought I had just about every size you could think of. So, the thicker or the thinner one? Thinner one looks a little too thin, and the thicker one I have a feeling is going to give me problems. So, what about here? Do I have anything here in between? Not really. Not really. These are all too big. Though this guy might do the job. So I'm going to put this one to soak. You never know. It might work. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this thicker one here. I'm going to try that. I might as well put all three of them to soak, and we'll see what's going on. In the meantime, I'll just go over here to camera number 1, bring it closer so that we can switch cameras in a few seconds so you can see exactly what's going on. We're going to start off on that upper left-hand corner. Right there, more or less. Hopefully, I won't be in front of the lens. Just bring all this over. There's wires all over the place here. It's a real studio, I must say. Then there's that glare. The glare of the upper light. We'll deal with that in a few minutes. So, let me try this first brush. Now that it's all soaked and I got the excess water out of it, let's see if this is not going to be too stiff. I like softer brushes for what I'm going to do, but I don't really have the right size, so I'm going to try this stiffer brush. And let's go over to camera number 1, and let's try this out. Let's see how this works out. Okay, so that's not too bad. Unfortunately, the stiffness of the brush bothers me. So I'm going to try then the other one. And we get rid of the excess water. I'm going to try the medium larger one, which I know at first is going to be just right. But I'm always thinking ahead, and I know that as I get towards the end, as I get more and more tired, I'm going to have the tendency of pushing down more on the brush, which is going to make the line thicker, and which I would like to avoid. I don't want it to be too thick. That's why. So that said, let's go back to camera numero uno, and let's see how we can. Okay, this brush isn't too bad. I guess maybe I was just worried, knowing my weaknesses. I also have to go slowly because I have to be precise, and yet I have to warm up, so. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I guess I can continue with that. Let's move on down to the next one. Next leaf right here. As I warm up, this should go a little smoother. All right. Very good. Let's start off with the top of the spider plant. Okay, not too bad. Obviously I'm going to have to concentrate a little bit here, so maybe I'll play some music. So, actually right now, I guess I'm going to play some music from my friend Jacek. Usually he plays with my other friends, Diego and Lucien, but this is his solo album, and I'm going to play that. It's a nice change of pace, and I'll be able to, well, at least concentrate more and won't have to talk as much if we have some music. Hopefully it won't be as boring to watch either. So let's go with that, and I'll return to camera number one, and this time with a little bit of music to make things a little more enjoyable. just switched paintbrushes to that thinner one, the third brush that I had not tried yet. And honestly, I seem to be liking it much more. I have more control over it, as you can tell by this area right here, which is a little thick and bothers me. Okay, so let's go to that larger plant way up there on the top. And for that, I am going to shut off the upper light, which is giving us a glare there. Well, I am having to concentrate a lot here. Switching paintbrushes again as we go back onto these leaves. Goes so much better when you're warmed up, I must say. I was struggling there for a while. Now I'm in the groove. Okay, so let's go to this next spider plant right here. There we go. So, pull this back. And I guess we'll swing all the way to the left-hand side. Might as well just work our way around little by little. Get these first leaves and then the nuclear tower. Switch paintbrushes here to get so that the base is a lot wider. I like my bases to be very fat on these towers. Just like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that, I guess. I'm going to grab my chair to do this, but first, before I grab my chair, let's move on to the middle of this painting. Since I'm standing up, I'd rather just stay standing. And we'll get these leaves right here in the middle first. So let me put down my paintbrushes for a second here. I'm getting all mixed up which is which. I think that's the fatter one and this is the thinner one. So I might as well just take a second to clean them off. There we go. And let's come back to camera number 1. go, very good. Mr. Nazika?
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Francois. How are you?
Hi. Okay, I see you.
Okay. There we go. Let's pull this back a little bit right now. That. Okay, very good. Let's move on now to this right-hand side where I have my other nuclear tower and a few more leaves to do. So, all right. And I'll switch brushes again. There we go. All right, very good. Very cool. Now, the lower, oh, I guess I have one more leaf way over here that I hadn't seen. That baby right there. So let me move the camera over just a little bit to get that. Just like that. There we go. Very good. Now, I gotta tackle these leaves that are on the part that was knifed on. So that is gonna be a little trickier. But first of all, I'm gonna grab my chair. To do that, let me just step away for a second, make sure I didn't miss any of these leaves. I guess not. So. Go. Yep, definitely trickier. is going a little bit easier than I thought it would. So that's pretty cool. And I lucked out on that, even though it's not finished yet. But still. So let us continue. Where are we here? Everything going okay with the stream? I guess so. I see no drop frames. Uploading at 4748K per second. That's pretty good. So let's continue. Okay, grab this spider plant now. keep on going here. I must admit, I'm not talking all that much today because this requires somewhat of concentration, especially this area here. With the background that has been knifed on, it makes things a little more complicated, so I have to stay a little more concentrated. And that's why I put the music on, right? Right. So we're almost done. But we got 6, 7 more leaves to go. Okay, just 2 more leaves to go, right? Just these last 2 right here. Very good. Okay, thank you for the music. Music by my friend Jacek right there, which is pretty cool because it permitted me to kind of think of other things than what I was doing, kind of escape, and just helps me concentrate better. So I'm just putting the excess black paint in the jar before I step back and see where we are at here. So I can move this camera back as well. I assume we're going to just put on the second coat of our frame. Okay, I didn't forget anything. Let me just quickly check here, go around the clock. Okay, apparently I got it all. Okay, very good. So let's concentrate now on putting this second coat on the frame because I can see all my brush strokes from what I did yesterday. So, and the other thing I'd like to do, I think, is make it just a little bit darker as well. So let's see if we can do that. I am going to grab this palette right here that we used yesterday or day before. I'm going to add some white paint first because this was that paint that I was mentioning earlier is really thick. So I am going to I'm going to work this pretty much with some water. There, that should be plenty right there. So I'm going to work it first with some water. Even though the water's dirty, it's going to be a gray, but it doesn't matter. I just want to get the right consistency of the paint first, and then I'll add the black paint to make it darker afterwards. So let me just pour in just a little bit of water. It'll go a little bit faster, and I'll just mix all this together. Yeah, this paint is really thick. So I turned off the overhead light just to get rid of the glare that I usually have on the top part of my painting. And I forgot to turn it back on, so I'm leaving it off right now. And looking at the computer and the image there, it really doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look any darker. That's because I do have 3 white light paint lights on. Maybe instead of using these yellow light bulbs overhead, I should maybe buy some white light bulbs. Anyways, let me just work this paint. It's getting to be pretty creamy there pretty quickly, though I doubt I have enough paint. Yesterday I barely had enough to finish our frame. So maybe I should add a little more, not be too stingy like I usually am. So let me just add another big spoonful of white paint, and then we'll bring in the black afterwards. There, I should definitely have enough there. Nice, I could paint the whole room over with what I put in here. So, add a little bit of white water again. There we go. And let's just blend all this in. like that. If I have plenty of paint, I can put it on thick and not be a cheapskate. Trying to make it too thin. But then again, when you look at the prices of materials, you can understand why I would do a thing like that. They cost an arm and a leg. And when you paint as much as I do, well, the bill gets pretty steep pretty quickly. I definitely have a lot of paint here. Okay, I am going to add the black paint now. There. I put a huge amount of black paint as well. I am definitely going to have enough paint. That's for sure. So let's blend all this in together. Get it to be nice and dark. And get it to be nice and homogeneous as well, so we don't have any streaks happening. I also have to keep in mind that when the paint dries, it has the tendency to get darker as well. So that's kind of what I was banking on when I put the first coat, for those of you who were here yesterday. But it didn't seem to darken all as much as I thought it would as it was drying. So I guess today I can definitely go in with a darker gray. And we'll do a little test just to compare the two grays before I decide to do the whole thing. I still have quite a bit of white paint here, so it's going to lighten up my palette quite a bit. Too bad. Looked like it was almost the right kind of dark that I wanted. But we'll see. Let me just blend all this in. Like I say, make sure it's nice and homogeneous. This looks like one of those cakes where you have like vanilla and chocolate streaks going through it. That's what I would kind of like to avoid. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. I am really just blending everything in, so it's really just one homogeneous gray. As I'm twirling and mixing, I can still see a lot of white streaks or light gray streaks in my composition here, which is not really what I want. So there we go. Looks like now we've got the right gray. So let me get the right paintbrush. Now, what paintbrush we used yesterday? That was perfect. And it was this guy right here. So let me use it just to mix the rest of this paint together. And we'll try a little area to make sure that it's a little bit darker. We're going to compare it to what we did yesterday, to our first coat. Just blend all this in. Just a few more minutes because I have a lot of water on my brush. I might as well use that water to mix the paint. There we go. This looks pretty good. So let me set up camera number 1. Let's just try out one little area here, maybe by our tower. So let's try the little base here. Well, it doesn't look like it's that much darker. If anything, it looks a little bit lighter, doesn't it? So let's go back. I guess I didn't even switch cameras, did I? No, I didn't. So as you can see, this is what I just tried right in here. And as you can tell, it is lighter than what I'm aiming for. So I'll just come back over here then and add a nice little glob of black paint. Something like that. Now, if that doesn't do it, I don't know what will. So let's back to the mixing board. Let's blend everything in. There we go. I took some of the gray paint out of my palette because we had too much paint. And this way I'll get the darker color, that dark gray hue quicker. So again, let me just mix everything so it's nice and homogeneous. We don't have any light dark gray streaks. So that looks pretty good. I'm just going to step over here for 1 second, talk to my friend François. Tu pars pas sans me le dire, d'accord, François, parce que j'aurais besoin d'un coup de main 5 minutes avant, quand j'aurai terminé mon... Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So don't leave without telling me. Yeah. Okay. See you in a minute. I have maybe 15 minutes to go. I have maybe 15 minutes to go. Okay, good. Okay, so let's check out this next coat, okay? I'll go over here. Well, still... So this looks like exactly what is on our canvas, right? Except that you see the shine of the reflection from the window. So I'm just going to come back over here one more time. It's no big deal. We'll get it right. And I'm just going to add another blob of black paint. I didn't realize it was taking that much black paint to do to get the hue I was looking for. Anyways, if you guys are not in a hurry, I am not either. This is got nothing else to do but what I'm doing right now. So there we go. So I added a bunch of more of my black paint here. So this is what I have on my palette right there. This is dark, and then I'm just going to blend in this black paint. Maybe next time I'll add white to the black instead of adding the black to the white. Maybe I'll go quicker to find the right hue. But anyways, this is definitely getting darker, so this looks like it's going to be finally the right hue that we're looking for. Let's just make sure we don't have any of those streaks in there. Everything is nice and homogeneous. I don't know if the camera can really show the difference of grays and stuff if there's enough pixels. Because I can't use the really high resolution to stream with, because in areas around the planet, right, you got to think worldwide now, right? www, the World Wide Web. Well, in a lot of areas, well, you don't have high-speed connection. So if I have a high-resolution stream, well, people just can't watch it, you know? So that's why I try to keep it to a nice HD resolution, but still. So let's go back up to our canvas here. I'll just zoom in a little bit above from where we were. And now you can definitely see that it's a lot darker. Even though there is the glare from the window, but there's nothing I can do about that. Well, let me just go over this very quickly, just like that. And we're going to start. I'm going to go way up to the top. Salut! And from the top, I'm going to work my way all the way around. Okay, so I might as well. We're on camera number 1. So let's do this. Oh yeah, that's definitely darker. Definitely darker. And it's perfect for what I want it to do. Though I think the paint is a little thick now. I got rid of the top glare, but now I have the glare from the window. But I guess you can't see it too much. Let me just add a little bit of water. There we go. So that the paint flows better. And I'm just going to continue on that top area right there. I don't really have to get that close to the border, to the edge of my frame, because there will be a black edge to it. There we go. Very good. Move it down that way a little bit. I'll just leave the camera where it is. I don't think it matters. There we go. There we go. Just getting the edge done. Just like that. And starting to have a stiff neck. So let's just work on down this right-hand side, I guess, of the painting. And I'll switch cameras. yesterday. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with a darker or lighter frame. But I did mention yesterday we would have this second coat that would give us exactly the liberty to make the decision today. Gave us that flexibility, so that's pretty good. Took fully advantage of it as well. There we go. Okay, so I am just going to pop over to this left-hand side now. I'll join these two sections. Test pattern. A little bit below us here. Won't run out of paint today, that's for sure. Let me run this all the way down, then I'll move the camera. Okay. This is on nice and thick. I won't see any brush strokes tomorrow. Okay, so I'll bring this baby down here. I'll grab my chair as well. And I'll switch cameras since I forgot to do that. Of course, typical. No need for me to go that right to the edge, but yet for some stupid reason, I can't help myself. Maybe it's just good practice to paint straight lines, who knows. And I'm doing it again on the bottom part, which really no need for me to do this, but whatever. Can't teach an old fool new tricks, I guess. Very good. And we're almost done for the day. I'll just bring the camera over a little bit like this. Now the great question is what are we going to do tomorrow? Work more on these frames, I guess. Maybe get done with the frame and then eventually go to the foreground and work on our nuclear rebel devil. Okay, so let me pull the camera back. I'm going to bring it all the way back here so we can have an idea of what things look like from camera number one. Let me get this. Get my paintbrush here and close off my jar of black paint. I have a lot of gray paint sticking around, but that's no big deal. Put this away. So, that is basically our painting. Let me just zoom in with camera number 2 here. So we have 2 different points of view. Okay, so you do have the glare from the window with camera number 2. And then if I switch over to camera number 1, well, you have maybe a little bit less glare. But anyways, so my friends, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. I hope you'll join me tomorrow as well. Why am I so hesitant? Because I have a gallery owner coming to check out some paintings, and I'm not sure what time he's going to be here. Therefore, I don't know at what time I'll do my stream and for how long. Okay, so anyways, I'll figure it out. If you go on Instagram to TheZenRebel, you can find out the details of what time my stream will be on tomorrow, if there is a stream. If not, it will be, I'll be here on Thursday. So anyways, so once again, thank you very much for joining me. Like usual, I'm going to leave you with 2 things. I'm going to leave you with my schedule. And the second thing is by saying, ciao mes amis.